So Jaron Boots Ennis, man. Let me talk about him real quick. People call him the Phenom, and he's next up, and I like Boots. I always did. But there's some things that I was thinking about. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm starting to think, man, that he's hiding behind undisputed, man. And what I mean is, he's at 147 right now. He says his goal is to become undisputed at 147 pounds. Not too long ago, after that second fight with Karen, Boots and them was talking about they might end up moving up to 154. And then once that happened, when that was said, and you heard Virgil Ortiz and his team call for the fight, and then, kind of strangely enough, he decided to stay at 147 and say he want to go for undisputed. Now a lot of people thinking he avoided Virgil Ortiz. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know, but I did find that a little weird. That they were kind of straddling, kind of like entertaining moving up to 154, and then the Virgil fight was brought up, and then Boots said he want to stay at 147 to get undisputed. But here's the problem with the undisputed thing, man. Like Boots became IBF champion after Bud dropped the belts, so he got elevated. So he then beat Stanionis for his WBA belt, so now Boots is unified. Two more belts remain at this weight class. Two more champions out there, two more belts to get. Brian Norman Jr., he got the WBO, and Mario Barrios has the WBC. So I believe Mario Barrios, he's about to fucking fight. He's about to fight Pacquiao, right? And Brian Norman Jr., I think he's going to Japan for a fight. That fight never materialized. You can argue who was responsible for that fight not happening. Some say Boots ducked Brian Norman. Some say Brian Norman ducked Boots. Whatever. And then the Mario Barrios fight. I don't know why that never happened. So is Boots supposed to just wait around to fight these dudes to become undisputed? How long is that going to take for him to gather all those other two belts? What if Pacquiao beats? Is that the strategy? Is he definitely not going to leave welterweight now that Pacquiao's back in the mix, and potentially that's a big money fight for Boots? If Pacquiao was to beat Barrios, which I think he will, in my humble opinion, and then you got Brian Norman Jr. Not sure what the hell he's going. What's going to happen with him and his belt? So what's the time frame for Boots to become undisputed, man? And I'm assuming that they said that he was going to move up to 154 because he's having issues with his weight. So, bro, is he going to wait around to try to line up a fight between Pacquiao if Pacquiao wins? Because I don't know. From what I was hearing, the Barrios fight fell apart too, right? So then Brian Norman Jr., is he waiting around for him to potentially defend his title and win? Or they gonna go back to the table and try to renegotiate? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he's supposed to be losing, having issues with making welterweight, I'm assuming that's what it is. Because when he said he wanted to go to 154, cool. And many might say, okay, maybe he wanted to go to 154 because the other fighters ain't want to fight him. Cool. Okay, but what's the excuse now for staying at 147 if you see the other two belts is kind of like near and far away from you? And then he said he wanted to go to 154. Then Virgil was right there. He could have just said, look, let me take this Virgil fight. And then if I feel like I'm healthy enough and I could do it, I'll go back down to 147 and try to try to grab up them other belts. He didn't do that. So now people looking at Boots kind of funny. You got people calling them flip-flops. That's hilarious. You got all kind of stuff. All people calling them names. And, so a lot of people believe Jaron Ennis is not confident in his abilities. Now they're saying that he might be ducking Teofimo Lopez. that's a topic for another video, you know. But I want to get y'all opinion on this. Does it look like Jaron Boots Ennis is hiding behind Undisputed at welterweight just to avoid those killers up there at 154? I want to get y'all opinion. This is Rebel Light Boxing. Catch y'all in the next one. I'm off this.